Hi everyone, happy Monday. It's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me, and I'm so happy to have him here with us today, is Derreck Johnson, who is running for at-large city council in Oakland. Hey Derreck, how are you?
Hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. One, it's so great to have you here. It's our pleasure having you here.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you, of course. And to begin, let me just give our audience a little bit about your background and why you've decided to run for, the at-large seat this year.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first, hello, all you Facebook Live fans. My name is Derreck Johnson. I'm running for City Council at large. A little bit about me. I am born and raised in Oakland. I'm a third generation Oaklander. Grandparents went to high school, aunts, uncles, mom, all went to high school here in Oakland, as well as myself. Raised by a single mother who worked three jobs to take me out of the Oakland public school system where I thought I was going to go to McClymonds for high school. I'm from West Oakland. I was raised in actually the Acorn projects. I'm definitely a diehard West. And anyway, Mac was not in my future. My mother put me in Bishop O'Dowd, and there I landed. Left O'Dowd and went to HBCU, Fisk University.
Lovely, lovely.
Yes, Congressman John Lewis is one of our notable alums. He just passed. May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yes, returned home to start a career. I started working for a very small children's shoe company. I always knew I wanted to work for myself and be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to get a job in a small environment. I'd worked at IBM in undergraduate and knew that corporate America just wasn't for me. So I took the job at a small company where I can really learn the infrastructure and how a business was being run. Worked my way up, did very well. And what I took from it was at the end of the day, when you own a business, you do everything. You mop, you sweep. Whenever somebody doesn't show up, that's your job, right?
That's your job, yeah.
Everybody thinks it's all glamorous and everything, but it's the glamour is, hey, it's not that glamorous. It's a lot of hours, a lot of hard work. From there, I opened my first business, which was a car wash detailing business.
Ooh.
And I literally started that out of the trunk of my car. I used to run down people from BART stations, walk up to you on the street and say, hey, your car looks a little dingy, let me hook you up. And that's basically how I started my first business. Just out of the trunk of my car, blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of hard work. And I eventually grew that to my mother was my first investor into my first location, which was out in El Sobrante, California. And after working out there for a couple of years, I was afforded an opportunity to have a location downtown Oakland, where I started my first business in Oakland. And that's where my dream. I always wanted to come back home to a city that I love and I was born and raised in. And that's where I got introduced to hiring the formerly incarcerated. That was not my goal. I didn't set out to hire that population, let me be clear. I was working one day and we had an overload of cars when I was like, oh my God, how are we going to get these cars out of here? And one of my employees said, hey, I can call the house and get some of my brothers to come down. And I said, my God, please call the house. Like I drove out there and picked the guys up myself. and it didn't dawn on me until the end of the workday that, these guys, I was actually getting guys from a halfway house and they were formerly incarcerated, just getting out of jail. And then just listening to their stories and becoming very compassionate about their stories and about their lives, just compelled me to really start working with that population. Yeah. And I carried that in. I later transitioned to the restaurant business and I carried that on with me today. And that's been my most rewarding out of all the things that, people say that I've done. And it's just really my lifestyle. I didn't look at it as doing anything to get a credit for it or an award for it. It was just, my give back to the community. I had businesses in Oakland. The city of Oakland, the residents of Oakland supported my business, provided me with a very nice lifestyle. So I felt it's my obligation and my duty to hire those that are one, from my city, those two that look like me, and three that just was not given, people say a second chance, they aren't even given a first chance.
True.
Watching somebody get their first car keys, get their first apartment, even get their first check. I have this one employee, Victor, who I handed him a check one day and he started crying. And I was like, what in the world? Like, in my head, I'm thinking, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with you? You should be here. You just got a check, right? And he
Yeah.
was like, I never got a legal check before in my life. I don't know what it, and so those kind of things just really touched me. And that's when I realized that I was really making an impact. And I really made it my mission to go out and employ that population, especially our young brothers and sisters. And, just make sure that we surrounded them with love, gave them the opportunity and the training to further their careers and leave me and go on and become successful individuals in society.
Of course,
So
definitely.
that's a little bit about me, why I decided to run. As I've mentioned, I'm born and raised in Oakland. I love Oakland. I love this city. It's giving me so much. It's giving me so much opportunity. And I feel that I'm in a point in my life that I'm ready to give back to the city in a much larger way. I have seen the city go through a lot of ups and downs, but I remember a city when I was a kid where I would go to Doggy Diner and Emporium Capwell's, and there was I Magnons, there was just retail, there was the Smiths, there was just the city was bustling. There was just a lot of energy in our city. And when it got to the point where I didn't feel that generations behind me that looked like me could afford housing in this city, then I just felt it was my duty and my obligation to step into this role, run for this seat, and win, by the way. I do plan on winning and making the difference, because that's what I feel I'm here to do, and create jobs. Jerry Brown, his mission was to create 10,000 new housing in the city of Oakland. My mission is to create 10,000 new jobs. That's one of the first things I want to start on when I get in this seat. The first 100 days, hold me accountable. I want to bring large business, middle business, and small businesses all together. And we have to figure out a way how to get our residents employed.
Definitely, definitely. Wow. First of all, your background sounds really good, and I'm so glad to see, what you're doing in Oakland, what you have done so far, and what you're planning to do. Now, for our audience out there, could you tell us what the three main things you're running on? The three biggest issues that you are running on.
Oh, great. Okay, so I kind of gave you one of my three just a minute ago. So I'll go backwards. I'm gonna start with three. So number three is creating jobs. I feel I have a proven track record of creating jobs. I've given hundreds of Oaklanders, opportunity, and I've been a tough employer. I've had ups and downs with employees, of course, and I would say majority of the time I've been right. No, I'm just playing. Sometimes I've been wrong, but I am the type of leader and person that when I'm not right or wrong, when I'm wrong about something, I am, I have enough integrity and I am man enough to say, hey, that wasn't a good decision of mine. Let me go back and do it. But I would say number three would be creating the jobs. That's first and foremost. Number two would be looking into the affordable housing situation. The affordable housing situation is a really drastic problem we have here in Oakland, especially in the African-American community. We're being displaced and run out of our city at a disproportionate level. I'm pro-development, so don't get me wrong. I do want to develop the city. I think we should have state-of-the-art buildings and facilities, because with development, that's how you create jobs. However, we can't displace generations of families that have been here. So we have to figure,
Definitely.
we have to really figure that out. And I would be the council member that would look into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. I know we have this trust fund, which leads me to my number one issue. I would look into that trust fund and understand, the inner workings of it. Of course, I'm not in that seat yet, but learn the inner workings of it, research it, work with my team, and figure out a way that we can direct some of those funds to the housing, the homeless situation, which is one of my number one issues. When I was walking around the city, when I was a kid, we didn't have encampments all over the city. And those encampments are, 70% African-American. And I really want to, my duty is to, when I get in that seat, is to sit down, work with Kimmy Watkins, who is the Director of Public Health for Alameda County, and those individuals that have a mental health or a substance abuse issue, let's work with the county, because that's who has the funds to take care of that population. And those that have been displaced from housing and that don't have those issues and that can be housed and can get employment, that's where my job creation and looking at why we're not working with organizations such as keeping Oakland housed and, excuse me, keep Oakland housed and building futures, looking at those organizations that are privately funded and get some public funds to them to expand the work that they're doing, because they're doing some awfully great work. You know, Keep Oakland Housed kept 1,400 people alone, you know, so far this year from becoming evicted. So that's 1,400
Wow.
people. Yeah, that's a significant number. So that's
Yeah,
1,400 people they've kept, you know, from becoming and adding to the homeless population. So let's work with them. You know, you
of
have,
course.
yeah, you know, so those are three of the things that I would really that definitely I want to look into, like, you know, for my first 100 days in office.
Definitely. Now tell me, you know, we're going through this very difficult time right now. You know, it's really unprecedented. How have you been handling this pandemic and the whole lockdown and the out of lockdown and, you know, all that's going on? How have you been handling it personally?
Personally, it's been tough because I'm a
Yeah.
busybody. For those that know me, I like to be out and about. You know, I like to be out and about and hanging out, and you know,
Yes.
I'm like a social butterfly. You know, that's why I'm in the restaurant business, right? Business wise, we just pivoted. And what I mean by that is we had to change our menu up. I mean, I am the owner of the Home of Chicken and Waffles down in
Yeah.
Jacksonville Square. But we had to, you know, now we have hot dogs, chicken hot dogs, we have quesadillas, we have grab and go food. And
Ah.
we have different types of wings. We've had to change our menu, condense our menu, and change our menu to really fit a to-go model. So with that, you know, that's kind of helped us out, and we have a loyal customer base. You know, I've been open there for 17 years, so we have a pretty extensive customer base. And you know, thanks, I give kudos to Steph and Aisha Curry, their foundation. We have a contract with that they set up through the World Central Kitchen. So those orders, and what we do is they order from us, they purchase the meals, and then they're delivered to seniors that are in, kids that are not getting food. So that organization is doing tremendous work in the city of Oakland, and they're keeping small businesses like us afloat.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And tell me, with your campaign, you know, it's once again an unprecedented time, so it must be a bit harder to be campaigning in the middle of a pandemic. Tell me about that.
Oh my God, it's well, I've never campaigned before, so let me just say that. Number one, I'm not a politician.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what I mean by that is that I would be an elected official, and the same access that you have to me right now is the same access you're going to have to me when I get in that seat. I'm going to make sure that my door is open, that I'm involved in the community. I mean, I'm basically just going to do what I currently do now. Oakland is my lifestyle. I'm involved with community events. I donate to a lot of community organizations. I attend a lot of community events, and I'm going to do the same. You know, when I get in that seat. Campaigning has been like this. It's been Zoom calls and virtual calls, and I'm electronically challenged. So, you know, I hit the wrong button. You know, I can't get my screen up, or I'm walking around trying to get the light. So, you know, with people like yourself and opportunities and exposure like this is how I have to get my word out. Fundraising is a very important part of campaigns, and I never really understood that, but you needed to advertise. I'm an unknown as far as in the political circle, so I have to get my face, my name, my word, my messaging, my platform all across the city in a very short period of time. The only way I can do that is through contributions. So those of you who are watching, any contribution will help. And I think when people think about contributing, you know, and they see all these dollar figures, they're like, oh my God, I can't do 900, which is the max. But $10, $5, anything will help. So those of you that would like to help me raise money, I'm open for virtual fundraisers and doing events like this.
Wonderful, wonderful. My goodness. So you're handling a lot during this time, and I don't envy you, but I do wish you the best. I do wish you the best in your campaign for the seat, you know. So if people do want to donate, if they do want to support, how can they go ahead and do that? Give us the website, give us, you know, all the things, plug anything you need to plug.
Okay, yes, it's johnsonforoakland.com. And you just go on our website, and there's a donate page. There's ways that you can volunteer. We are about to start our volunteer process. We're going to start calling, doing, you know, calls around the city, call banking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm open to more and more fundraising events virtually. Uh, I'm pretty bold, so I'm gonna probably start riding around, different neighborhoods in the West and the East and the hills, in the flats, everywhere, in the car, caravans, like, vote for me.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us, Derek. It's been such a pleasure having this chat with you.
Thank you. Anytime.
Of course. See you later. And
All
to
right.
our viewers, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.